Hi guys, thanks for joining us on our first ever basketball podcast. We're going to cover a whole bunch of different topics, and then we're kind of going to go through it from there. It's going to be very ad hoc. Obviously, we're doing it in my living room, so production values through the roof. I think the first topic, let's introduce ourselves. So why don't you introduce yourself and then maybe a little bit of a background, some of the stuff that you've done. And then, we can poke fun at some of my experiences as well. All right?
Can we look at the camera?
Yeah, look at the camera. Or you can look at me. You ain't got to look at the camera.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
You know my name, Ben Fluck. I'm the head coach of...
Oh, is it? I thought it was Fluke. It's not?
No, it's not.
It's Fluck.
It's Fluck, yeah.
See, there we go. Learn something new. And how many years have we known each other now?
Well, I thought it was about 15. You said yesterday it's what? Since I was 15, so 20 years.
Yeah, it's been about 20 years. So I've been grooming you for 20 years.
Do you remember when we were arguing on Street Ball Wales, like you mentioned yesterday?
Yeah.
Got to shout out Street Ball Wales as well, actually. Yeah. That's Phil Warren and all those guys.
Yeah.
Got to shout out Street Ball Wales.
Yeah, and Di and Stoney. Yeah.
The original Swansea boys.
The Swansea boys. So Street Ball Wales was back in the day before social media.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be something called forums, right? Not like 4chan. And basically, all the basketball community used to go on there. So you had streetball.co.uk and then you had Streetball Wales.
Yeah.
Where streetball.co.uk was very urban, very much about the streetball side and, local sort of things that were going on around England. Streetball Wales was obviously focused around Wales, predominantly South Wales, and talking about the game. And there was a lot of shit talking going on. I was on there. I think I was like maybe 19, 20, 21, 22, something like that. I was old enough to know better. That's the best way to put it, isn't it? Yeah. I definitely was old enough to know better. Let me get a hat on. I'm going to pause and put a hat on because my hair is mad today.
Yeah, lots of interesting basketball discussions on there back in the day. Everybody was on there too. They just wanted to talk basketball.
Right, I've edited this to put my hat back on because my hairline's finished. But I'm going to leave that in there. Anyway, so Streetball Wales, you were on there, I was on there.
All the Gwent boys were on there as well, though. All the Gwent boys, and it was notorious for
shit talking.
And all the Gwent boys' first posts would be some shit talking bullshit, and everybody knew who all the Gwent boys were.
And the number one topic for discussion is, who's the best player in Wales? Who's the best coach in Wales?
Who's on the Wales
the best
team?
Uni coach in Wales? You know what I mean? Because at that time I cut my teeth on in basketball with uni basketball. That's how I started out in Swansea Uni properly. Anyway, I was a terrible coach. I wouldn't even say, I think I was learning as I was going, the fundamentals, and I was picking it up from we had a few Americans and a few other sort of basketball heads, and we were going through it. But sorry, go on.
You knew the game even back then, I feel like. You're probably just slightly more abrasive back then.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Well, that's. I think few people got a few choice words for me, but So I knew you from there. And then
you came back to Cardiff, set up the Capitals after Swansea.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. But then talk about yourself. So where did you start playing basketball? What was how did you get into it?
Started in Cwmbran, obviously in a Fairwater comprehensive school. It was then Fairwater High School now.
Yeah,
but it started because Matt Godfrey, obviously another Capitals guy. Matt Godfrey came to the school when I was in year 7 or year 8. I didn't know basketball before then, really.
Yeah.
Everyone back then knew who Michael Jordan was, obviously, and Space Jam and that. Everyone knew that.
Yeah.
But no one in Cwmbran was really doing basketball until Matt Godfrey came, and there was a team called Newport Knights. There was some older guys that Matt Godfrey got involved in. And then quite a few of the kids got into basketball because Matt was obviously super keen on developing in it. So
we should do a podcast with Matt as well.
We will,
yeah, we definitely have to sit down with
Matt.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Loads of stories. But Matt got involved just as a teacher. Then he was doing after school, whatever sessions. So many kids started to play that he wanted to start an academy because the school already had a football academy.
Ah, okay.
So he already had a football academy going that obviously you can get loads of kids in for that as well. Obviously, a lot more kids are playing football. Then Matt wanted to do a similar thing with basketball, so he got Vic Fleming down. I don't know, from Ellesmere Port, who obviously everyone knows. In South Wales, everyone knows Vic. I think lots of people all over know Vic for basketball.
Bear in mind that every 5 years there's a new batch of players that come in, and it's been a long time since Vic has coached on a public level. May only been 5-10 years or whatever, but
it's a long time though to not do anything
in basketball. I mean, I know he's doing stuff.
Yeah, not coaching a team and doing the developing players, because you see a lot of players that are still playing now come through Vic. And that was I played for Vic. I stopped playing for Vic 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're still and he stopped maybe with that particular academy, maybe 5 years at most after that. But you still see guys that played for Vic.
Yeah.
We've got them on art. Obviously, Lewis, Tucker.
Yeah.
John Fawn,
Yeah.
Are the main two probably that everyone would think about. But there's
still going at a high level, semi-pro level. Yeah.
But so many different players came through, from Vic's thing. So I did that with Vic. And Vic's still got a relationship with Curtis Xavier, who is from Nottingham, but he's very well known in basketball circles up there, and he played professionally. Vic used to have some kind of pipeline.
Curtis now, yeah.
Curtis, yeah. He's from Nottingham.
Yeah.
Used to play professional in the UK. I'm not sure about overseas. Did a lot of coaching with high-level NBA guys, high-level professional guys.
So BBL.
But he did coach John Amici in the summertime. That's why the NBA came to my head. He wasn't coaching loads of NBA guys. I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah.
But John Amici is obviously from Manchester, and Curtis used to do individual stuff with him. John Amici played for Utah Jazz. You know that, yeah?
Yeah. There was like a big thing. Yeah, it was a big thing when he was going to go to the Lakers and play with Kobe and stuff. But that never happened and stuff. He stayed too loyal.
So he didn't play for the Lakers.
John Amici, no, I don't think so.
I remember it being Utah. But so Curtis Xavier is up in Nottingham, and Vic, all the kids that Vic, I guess, thinks has got a chance to play at a higher level.
So what was the situation up in Nottingham then? So why did Vic send you guys up to Nottingham?
I think because of the relationship we have with Curtis, but Curtis Xavier and the program up there, which was it was SNC, South Nottingham College, was the name, and City of Nottingham in the senior NBL, because they had a college team and a senior men's team.
Yeah,
but they produced a lot of professional players, or he has, and the guys helping him.
Yeah.
There's still a high level BBL player playing now from back when I was there. Do you know Jamal Anderson?
Maybe no.
Lots of people will know him that follow basketball. He plays. I don't know. I'm sure he's playing for now, but he's played all over the BBL. Still playing BBL. Curtis was always producing high level players.
Okay.
So Vic sent us a lot of us there. Loads of people from Vic went there. John and Chris Bateman. You remember them? The Bateman twins.
No. Yeah, no. I do remember him, but yeah.
Obviously, John, Fawn, Lewis, Leto.
Forget about those guys.
Yeah,
we're going to talk about you.
Well, that's why Vic was sending guys up there, because it was a good Curtis.
So why did he send you up there then?
Because Curtis was amazing at developing individuals.
Okay,
amazing at it.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't best suited because I'm not a great athlete. But I didn't know that back then. I knew, but I didn't want to admit that, So
didn't sound like the Ben I remember. It didn't sound like
obviously I was always a subpar athlete, so maybe following professional basketball path maybe wasn't the best idea for me. But that was what I was doing it for. I was convinced the whole time I was a junior that I was going to play pro.
Yeah.
So that's why I went up there, to pursue the basketball professionally.
Yeah.
Then when I stopped, certain stuff happened, which meant the structure of the academy changed a lot.
Okay.
Whatever.
Won't get into that. We don't want to offend anybody.
No, we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But the structure of the academy changed a lot. So it basically went to a private scenario, and a lot of people ended up leaving then. And I stayed in Nottingham for a little period, played just for Nottingham Hoods, who obviously are now whatever.
Oh, amazing. Did you play like nationally for them? Or?
Yeah, but they weren't D4 then.
Okay.
That was when they first started.
Oh,
so I played for them, but they had a super talented team.
Yeah.
I didn't really play that much for them. They had guys that had played pro and played in the States, and they just, as you saw, they went straight through the divisions.
Okay.
They just getting promoted every year.
Yeah.
But I didn't play that much for them because I wasn't good enough. But at the time, obviously, you're not thinking that.
No.
So I'm getting pissed off with the coach, and who's a great guy, and we got along really well. But I stopped playing there because I wasn't getting minutes.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, looking back, but at the time you don't realise that.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to South Wales, and I again played with Vic first at Cardiff Met.
Okay.
for maybe only one season.
So what year was that when you came back and started playing for Met? From Nottingham then. So you were up in Nottingham for how long, actually? How long were you up there for?
Probably 4 years.
4 years? Jeez, when did you go up then and what age?
When I was 18, I went up there.
And then you came back at 22?
Maybe 21, 22. Maybe around 4 years. I think it was about 2010, 11 when I came back.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure I was going to play basketball then or whatever, what I was going to do. And then I started going to... Vic still at the academy at this point, towards the end. Yeah. So I just went to see him because I was back, and Vic's always looked after me.
Yeah.
So I went to see Vic, and then he said about just coming and training with the academy, which was kind of him, because they probably shouldn't really be doing that, I guess, Yeah. But that was cool. That was really nice. Got back into it then, and then I played for South Wales Police in the Welsh League just to play a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And then maybe the next season I played for Vic at Cardiff Met.
So what was that, like 2012, 2011?
2012. We had a stacked team, real stacked team. The league was good though. The league was good then, but we had Asa was playing.
Yeah.
Andy St. John, and Andy was still in great shape then and great player. So it was me, Andy, and Asa, or me, Asa, and Andy as the 1, 2, and 3. So we had a real nice team.
Yeah.
And I thought we would do really well. We probably were around 500. The league was good though.
Yeah.
And I was young. I didn't have the patience, I was thinking I thought we were going to win the league probably back then, thinking we're going to, because we had a nice team. I'm missing some guys as well. Obviously, we had another 9 players. Yeah. They were all good, like a lot of good players. Lloyd Roberts, Lloyd. He was still, he was still really playing then and in good shape, and that we had a good team.
Yeah.
So that was nice. We played for a year maybe, and then I don't know exactly why I didn't play for a little bit, but I didn't play National League then until whatever year you started. I played for the Cardiff Warriors in the Welsh League the season after, but I didn't play National League, I think maybe first season. And then
we set up, I think you joined Capitals 2013, 2014.
So then it started with Cardiff. It was Cardiff City Capitals, I guess, but officially back then.
It started as Cardiff Capitals.
Cardiff Capitals, and you guys were going National League.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were already going National League.
Yeah.
And then one of the sessions in the old Glenhavon, you was there, and you basically sat everyone down and talked about the Cardiff City partnership. Because you're right, I forgot about that. But regardless of the Cardiff City thing, me and Andy were coming to play. Yeah. I should have mentioned Andy was coming too, because you guys were going National League. So
yeah, Andy hated me at this point.
Yeah, I don't think me and you. I don't think liked each other at this point either.
Still, no, I don't think I disliked you. I think it was more of I didn't like anybody. Nobody liked me.
We were both younger then.
Yes.
Bigger egos then as well. Obviously, we still have healthy egos, but they were even bigger back then.
Was it ego?
For me, it was definitely ego. I don't know, but I can't speak for you. I had a huge ego back then.
Maybe I was just so maybe insecure. Maybe.
I definitely had that too, actually, for sure. That was part of it. Often that can come out as aggression and stuff, that fear and insecurity can be masqueraded as aggression,
For sure, yeah.
So I started with City then, and obviously we've done a lot with City over that time, a whole lot. Why
don't you talk about that a little bit? Like, so what happened? So you did a season with us.
Okay, for first year with City, we had a good season.
Yeah, we finished top 4.
Yeah, we had
our first season.
We should have had a better record than we did, but we had a good record. Something like, I don't know, we probably won like 12, lost 8, something like that.
Yeah.
But we should have been better, really, because we had myself and Andy, and we were both still in shape and serious about basketball then.
Yeah.
Tony Berry was, this is 12 years ago, so Tony Berry was younger.
Yeah. He's nearly 50 now, so he was like late 30s.
But he was, in good shape and could still play. Still can now.
Yeah.
Can now. Yeah. Gareth Riddle, now he can still play now as well, but not like with Tony. Tony still plays regular now. G was really good back then.
Yeah.
Like really, really good.
He was a monster,
he could take people off the dribble at his size and stuff, and he's always known the game, obviously, and he was still athletic then, still had some nice dunks at times,
Yeah.
So we
good legs under him.
Legs. So we had G, Tony, me, Andy, Chris Smith. Sometimes we'd even start with me and Andy, Tony, G, and Chris Smith. Now that is an old school lineup.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, the combined weight of that.
Yeah.
It's going to be like
3 forwards / centers. But Chris Smith can shoot the 3.
Yeah, he can.
So, and he's he's willing to shoot it as well.
Yeah. He's great at passing as well.
He's a good passer.
And you try and take the ball off him when he's got it high, like you're going to catch.
And Giantoni is good passes too.
Okay.
So surprisingly, that lineup, which on paper doesn't really look like thing, it worked pretty well. And we also had Dav, who we were talking about.
Yeah,
was a great player.
David, yeah,
he's a great player.
Yeah,
Fuxi was the player coach, and Fuxi could still play then too. You know, he was always in shape.
Was starting as well, I think.
Maybe Fuxi started, and maybe G or Chris didn't. Maybe, but Fuxi might have been the starter. I'm sure. Did we have Yanis and the other guy then as well? I forget their names.
I mean, it's from that first season up until about 2 seasons we ran.
Yeah,
with Fuchs and Chris.
Yes.
And then they kind of moved on.
They moved on. There was obviously some up and down years in that period.
Yeah.
But then we had, Savannah, I think Savannah was before Lewis. Savannah was a great player. Obviously,
Savannah was after Lewis.
After Lewis. Okay, so Lewis changed a lot when he came in.
Yeah. So
maybe a year or two after 2 or 3 years after sorry, John came before Lewis. John played against us that season for Filton, and he didn't play. Although the year before, John had averaged like 25 in the league. Yeah. 25 in NBL. But he wasn't playing. So I spoke to him after the game, and then a couple of weeks later, he was with us.
Okay, so that was it. So it was mid-season he joined us. Right, so it was the first season we were in NBL.
First season in NBL, John joined.
Yeah, and John was coming off the bench because he was still
John was barely playing. Like, we went to a game somewhere in the Midlands somewhere, and John didn't play at all, you know?
Yeah, which is crazy.
But
he was young. He was
young. Obviously, definitely could have played then, but he was unorthodox, obviously, as he is.
Showtime, Mr. Showtime.
He was super effective back then too, but he was unorthodox and he was new to the team. And Fuxi obviously had, because I'd only joined that season, Fuxi obviously had relationships with the guys from prior.
Yeah.
So that's going to factor in as well.
Yeah.
So John didn't really play that much, but there was games though where John would be doing all kinds of crazy dunks in the warm up. Like the people that were watching would be like, "This guy's amazing." Yeah. And he didn't even step on court. Yeah. But that's basketball. It happens.
It was a different thing, like, I mean, this going off a tangent a bit, but it was like John was like the evolution of the game, right? I'm not saying John started it, but essentially that younger run and gun,
the evolution of our team anyway.
Yeah,
I think a lot of basketball was getting played like that regardless. But in terms of our team, obviously you got John, you want to play faster.
Yeah.
I
think to summarize it for me, like just using Welsh teams, it's like a lot of Welsh basketball at that time or just before that time was very much like South Wales Police,
Mm-hmm.
Big, tough guys, not super quick, but could finish.
Yeah.
Nice middies. You know what I mean? Run their half-court sets.
More traditional,
sit in a zone.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, RCT was always an exception to that.
RCT will get onto that.
They've always been okay.
Yeah, we'll get onto RCT. Okay. RCT have always been ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah, always.
And only now, I think Welsh basketball's catching up to them now.
Still don't get appreciated enough.
No, they don't get nowhere near enough.
That's not a slight to anybody, but they know.
They know.
Those three brothers being the best players.
We're gonna get onto that.
Okay, so we had John Form. We had a nice team.
Yeah,
and then it was up and down for a few years, but I think pretty much always a winning record. So John joined. Obviously, John was way prior to Lewis, really, and we were like up and down for a couple of years. Probably we had guys in and out. I was in and out at times with work commitments, but I think we were always pretty solid record wise.
Yeah. We never had a losing season where we were below. I think in those first 2 years we were below 500.
I've never been involved with Cardiff City where they've had a losing season, like less than 500 in NBL. Never. I know there have been some times, but I've never when I've played. Not because of me. I haven't been on a team. I don't know of a team that I've been in that City that had a below 500 record.
Okay. But then when did you come back then and start getting involved more? I think like 2018, 2019, when we got promoted from D4, I think.
Yeah,
you were involved for
I
big chunks of that season.
I started coaching that season, kind of. I wasn't going to coach, but we didn't really have a coach.
Yeah,
we skipped out the Lewis part though, because obviously Lewis joined and made a big difference at a certain point.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, we had a couple of up and down seasons, but then when Lewis came, it kind of shifted a lot, to be honest. You know?
Yeah. So put it in context. You were playing from about 2013, and you continued playing, and then took over coaching probably about 2018, 2019, I think.
Well, yeah, whenever that year was that we got promoted.
Yeah, from 4 to 3.
Yeah, I was involved at the end of that.
Yeah.
And then next year we were in D3 because they had D3 and D4 then.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have a coach. I remember going to one of the first sessions.
No. It was D4 and we got promotion to D3 and I was under you.
Yeah?
Yeah. So you got us promotion twice.
So I coached 2 years in a row then?
No, you coached 1 year and then I think something happened. I think there was a lot of butting of heads.
The year we were in D3, I definitely coached it the season.
Yeah, because we went up from D3 to D2.
No. We did. You'd have to check on MBL at some point.
I should have had all this done already, but there we go.
The year we were in D4,
yeah,
I got involved like second half of the season. I was like player coaching, and
we got promoted.
We got promoted, and then they gave the club the Coach of the Year award and all that. Yeah.
Which I've stolen.
It was officially Eboss though, because he was actually registered as the coach.
Yes, that was it.
But then the next year we were in D3, and we didn't really have a coach to start the year.
Yeah,
nothing had been discussed, but when we got to training, like it wasn't going well. You know, it wasn't good. Yeah. Like people who can't be, we were mentioned, were running things, and it didn't go well.
No, I mean we could talk about it. We just got to be, you know what I mean. We've got to be fair about it. Essentially, I think Fuchs and Chris took.
I'm not talking about any of those guys though. So.
No. It's fine. Like, yeah, it's fine. We leave all this in.
And I'm not talking about Seth either. Seth's my guy.
Yeah. Oh God, this is gonna be so controversial. So basically, I think Chris and Fuchs were very close.
Yeah.
Even though I think I'd known Chris for a lot longer, Chris and Fuchs were very close.
They're real tight still now.
Yeah,
they're
really good friends. Yeah. And Chris took an injury while playing up in Met in a game, I think it was. And it was a career-ending injury, essentially. You know, he's never been the same since. You know, even though he's doing powerlifting, I don't know how, because that comes from your legs. But he had an ACL tear, I think it was, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm done." We were, I think, then after that point, and again, you know, I'm sure people will try and correct me. I'm probably wrong. If anybody knows me, I'm usually am. And then Fuchs was like, I don't want to coach anymore because obviously
I can't blame him.
Yeah, because I think he was really close because Chris wasn't there. There was a lot of tension because Fuchs was very much an old school coach, right? In terms of, okay, you got to earn your minutes, you got to do this. You know, you could go to away games. You're not going to play, right? There's a good chance you may not play.
Which is how it is in a lot of clubs, you know.
That is how it used to be, right? 100%, right?
Fuchsy was a lovely guy, though. He just had a headache of a team, man. Me especially, bro.
Oh, you were a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I was terrible. Like, you know, Fuchsy had a lot of patience.
I remember we were in a changing room, and I think you didn't start a game, but you still played 35
I'm
minutes.
So embarrassed by this one. I don't even want to discuss this one, bro.
Yeah, we're not going to go into it.
Oh yeah,
so
we can go into it. That was terrible.
Oh, we'll go into my stuff in a minute as well.
Apologies to Fuchsy for that one, man. Yeah, that was.
And I think Fuchs didn't start you because I think you missed a training session or something.
I was working for Swansea Storm at that time, bro. And
that was it.
I was training with them Tuesdays.
Yeah,
and then with us Thursdays. So I couldn't make Tuesdays because part of the obligation working for the job they were giving me, coaching the junior schools, was to be the main guy on their team, basically, because they didn't have a great team back then, you know. So there was that, and then my attitude in training was that I'm so good that I don't need to listen.
Shall I tell the story from my perspective?
Oh yeah, tell it.
It's going to be definitely. I don't think you started, but I think you came in first quarter, maybe 4 minutes left of the first quarter, and then played the entire game, right?
Pretty much. But he had to play me the entire game because I was by far the best guard we had.
I think David had taken a step back at this point as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I love Dav, but even if he hadn't, I was still a better player than him at that time.
Okay. And so what happened was you were in the changing room, and I remember you like, what the fuck was I doing? Because I was like, what was I doing in the changing rooms, you may ask, right? Which is what my wife asks quite a lot, yeah? It's like, what are you doing in the changing room?
I remember, bro. I was being a dick. I remember. G and Tony Barry were in there, being cool as they are, you know, sorting it out.
And Ben's getting changed, and he's like, yeah, just don't ever do that again, folks. don't ever not start me in a game, yeah, right? Because I'm just not happy about it. And that's the PC version of
That's
it.
the PC version.
And then I think Tony spoke to you and G spoke to you afterwards and stuff, and you were a bit more chilled out and stuff. But magically, they did start every game after that.
They were bad guys though, and I had a lot of respect for those guys then, and still now. You know, me and Tony became super cool friends directly after that moment. And G's always been a wise guy, you know. So always. But no, I should have been starting. Fuchs will tell you that himself. There's no way I shouldn't have started. I was starting prior to that, but then my attitude wasn't great, so maybe I shouldn't have been starting. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. But in terms of on-court effectiveness, of course I should have been starting. And I did start every game.
You were. This is pre-beard. Ben was a pain in the ass.
I was an arsehole, man.
And so that happened, and I think it was that year then that Chris had his injury. I think you were at the game. Chris had his injury. Fuchs was like, probably seeing that Chris has had this injury. They're this, roughly the same age as well. Was like, I don't know how long I've got left. I want to just play, and I don't want the responsibility of running the club. You would continue playing, and then Tony Berry took over.
Berry took over for a bit. For a season, maybe.
Yeah, for about a season. Then Serena.
Yeah,
so
then you got it.
That's it. So what happened is that when Fuchs left, all the younger guys who were kind of, I think, either scared or felt that they couldn't get minutes under Fuchs joined up. John became starter and everything. And John was the driving force for me keeping the club going. Like I said it.
You've said that so many times. It's the truth. Yeah.
I was like, I remember having a chat with him in 2014, and I was like, it was in the summer, and I was like, Fuchs has just told me this now that, he's going to Cardiff Met. Because they've always been really well organised from when I was coaching there, from before that, even now and stuff.
At that time, you organised a meeting at the House of Sport. I remember I was there. Like, you tried to get everyone that was interested in playing. We need to come together and keep the team going. And we had like 4 guys there, bro.
Yeah,
me, Tony Berry, John, yourself, maybe a couple others.
And I was just like, this was before that. But John was like, look, people will come. And he was like, look, just enter us. And he did a lot of the legwork.
Yeah, he drove every game he would drive. He'd have 3-4 guys in his car. He was super committed. He held it down.
It was on him. And I think at that time, because I knew Harley was up in the Nottingham thing. And so Harley came back, and I was like, Harley, come play for us. And he brought Lewis along.
Yeah.
And I think Lewis had been around for a year at that point. Maybe did a couple of games for...
Harley played in the first year too, though. But then he didn't...
He didn't get minutes.
He did sometimes. He showed up late to a game one time because he had stuff going on, and then Fuchs didn't play him at all.
Yeah,
and he didn't play after that, which was unfortunate because
he was super talented.
Yeah, Harley's a great player, great person. Yeah. That was just real unfortunate timing all round because Fuchs is also a really good guy.
Yeah,
and in normal circumstances, I think those guys would get along very well.
I agree. I think after Fuchs left, Harley came back.
Yeah, and Lewis
brought Lewis because he was a mate. Because I think Lewis was doing some stuff with Barry. I think he was playing a little bit for them.
He used to come train a little bit for Met as well when I was playing for Met a little bit.
Yeah, and then he came to us, and I was like, oh, who's this guy with a resting bitch face? Because he didn't used to smile in the early days. Didn't used to like engage. Very quiet. Like he was a young kid, like 19, 20 years old, right? From my perspective,
but he was. He's not always the type either to be expressive with his facial stuff. He can let a lot go and just observe.
He's a very chill, cool guy.
Yeah, he's happy to observe a lot of the time unless he needs to say something or needs to do something.
Yeah. So I think that happened, and then basically we managed to pull loads of people came in and joined.
Was Zach and Ahmed playing that?
Yeah, I think Zach and Ahmed started getting involved because it was under Tony, right? So. And then Serena came. Now, Serena was like, he played D1.
Yeah, he's high level player.
He changed our entire ethos at the club.
Yeah.
Completely changed how we approached the game. And he moved us towards an RNG approach, which was like run and gun, get back on defense, work hard, and was very honest with the guys. You're not good enough. That's why you're not getting minutes.
He was real high level player at his best. He's one of the best players that Cardiff City has had.
Probably.
Like obviously at his peak, he might be the best. He might not have been the best player at the time he was playing, if you follow me. But he's still one of the best. And
he was he was Serena was super social.
Yeah, super social, good company.
Yeah, NCAA Div 1 brought all of that experience with him. and he wanted to have fun,
Yeah.
and he brought all that that stateside experience with him, and he was an amazing find for us.
He was, but then he got a pro contract, right, in Germany. Is that right?
No, he had pro contracts in Switzerland.
Right.
No, he ended up going to Spain. He did, and then it was with work.
With
it wasn't
work,
because
okay.
he wanted
I thought
to
he was
leave.
playing ball. Okay.
Yeah. So that situation happened, or what have you. So, and then I think the year after that, you took over then. So that's like 2016, 2017.
Yeah, and so it was earlier than halfway through.
No. It was like 2017, 2018. It was like after Serena, right?
I came back to play at the start of the season, I believe, and there wasn't too much going on. So yeah, I was like player coach, mainly coach for that year. We got promoted D4, D3.
Yeah.
From D4 to D3.
Yeah.
And then the next year, we didn't really have a coach confirmed or anything, know. Obviously, back then, so although we got promoted from D4 to D3, it wasn't like a scenario like, I'm definitely going to coach the next year because,
I don't think we had we didn't have our heads screwed on.
We didn't, but also I didn't have the relations with the guys in that sense. Like I was one of the players, and also I was younger, and different. And so, but then I came to one of the first pre-season things. You had a pre-season thing at the Welsh Institute of Sport.
Okay.
And I think maybe Zach or Ahmed was taking the lead on it, but they clearly hadn't. Love to you guys. They clearly hadn't done the session planning or anything.
You're going to get so much abuse.
But they clearly hadn't done the plan to plan the proper session or whatever. Like it was okay, but it was clunky.
Yeah,
it wasn't where it needed to be even back then for where we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking over by default that season when we were in D3. Yeah, so we were in D3, but the league was really good that year. They had D4 as well.
Yeah.
So we probably only finished like 9-9, something like that. But that was good for that year. And we beat Worthing in the Cup that year as well.
Yeah, D1
D1 Worthing in Cardiff. And we had quite a few people at that game. Like Joe Franks was playing for us that year.
Oh, God, yeah, Joe Franks.
And then we had, I remember Joe Franks' brother and his mates on the side drinking beers during the game. It was a good vibe, that game. It was a good win. I don't know, that one always sticks with me. I don't know why. That memory of
that was
guys.
A big win.
That was a big win.
That was Lewis, John, you.
Yeah, Ebos, I'm sure.
Ebos was a starting point, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ebos was starting point guard for a number of years on and off, right?
Yeah. And then you were just playing then. After that.
Yeah, we got, was it Pencho or Seth we got in?
I think it was Pento.
I wanted to just play at that time. Even the last time we got the couple of years ago, I came back just to play for Yayan.
Yeah.
So most of the time I've ended up coaching.
Yeah.
I've wanted to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had maybe Pento or something. Like I said.
I think we were like, we need a dedicated coach.
Yeah, you need a coach.
So we had Pento. So Pento was just like this super positive guy. You know what I mean? Super eager.
Good background in Spain as well with the club he was a fan of and stuff.
He put in a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think we weren't mature enough when we had him as a club.
Yeah.
And also his style of play was very different to our guys.
Yeah, I guess. Pencho knew his stuff.
Yeah.
But at that time, I don't think he was able to communicate effectively to the guys.
Yeah.
Because he still knows his stuff, I'm sure. I haven't spoken
I think he was too nice, and our guys are too hood. I'll be honest.
Maybe he was too nice.
Yeah, I think he was too nice. And I remember having a conversation with Lucy Witt up in Met. And she was like, oh, you got a new coach? I said, listen, Lucy, this guy's so nice. He's what I envisioned at the time of what a Cardiff Met coach would be like. Super professional, super nice, doing all the work and the background stuff.
Yeah, punctual.
You know what I mean? Punctual, all of that. Expecting more from the guys.
Great guy.
And then the following season after that, he went to Met.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which I was like, that is probably where he needs to be, because the organisation just wasn't where it needed to be.
So we had Seth coaching for on and off for a little period there for sure.
Yeah,
most definitely. I can remember either before Pencho and then after.
Yeah,
to be honest, Seth was kind of coaching during Pencho's reign as well in the background, like Seth likes to do.
Yeah, backseat driver Seth.
Lovely shout out to Seth.
Yeah.
But so then we had Seth on and off. And then it was kind of like that, I think, until Yayan got involved, right?
Yeah. So
I was just playing for this whole period, pretty much.
So then, what happened then? So Yayan got involved.
Yeah, it was.
How did the club change then?
It was a lot different, obviously, when Yayan got involved. Everyone, if people are listening to us to talk, they're going to be interested. They're going to know Yayan, obviously. Everyone knows
Yayan, Alex
great
Jones.
Coach. Yeah, great coach.
GB under 16s, GB under 20.
Yeah, he's got. He does
ran the Premier program in Flyers. He's done stuff out in the States and people from there. Hoop Fix.
He's got a great bio and he has experience, but he's just really good at coaching as well.
He's an excellent coach. Yeah.
So
he also obviously he runs the Cardiff and Vale College Academy, and they've won titles every year. He's probably, in my opinion, he's the best coach in Wales right now.
If you look at what he's done the last prior 2 seasons, they won they got promoted, right, and then they won the league again after they got promoted.
Yeah,
so that's not an easy thing to do.
No way.
So Yayan's a great coach. So Yayan came in.
Yeah,
we still basically at the point that Yayan came in, he was able to get a couple of guys in like Perry Biston, is it?
Yeah,
and maybe another couple, but he didn't really start getting loads of guys in
until the following year.
The following year was when he started recruiting like his guys, you know what I mean, to come in and play, and he really upgraded the roster then.
Yeah, massively.
Like massively, because I only played the first year with Yayan.
Yeah,
and we had a solid record, and we beat BBU one time, who won the league and got promoted.
Yeah.
So we were solid, but commitment wasn't great as a whole.
Yeah.
Obviously, the usual guys, they know who they are. We're always committed, but as a whole, we didn't have the commitment to do that well. But and he came in late as well. He didn't have a pre-season that season. So then the next season, he had the whole time, knew he was going to be the coach. He got all his guys in.
Yeah.
And I went and coached Cardiff University, so I wasn't involved.
Yeah.
So I don't know the full ins and outs, but I know you guys had a great record.
Yeah.
Like 14-2, something like whatever it was. It was a really good record. They only lost. They beat Met at home.
Yeah.
And
Met were very strong that year.
Met were very strong that year. And most of the time, if we're being honest, going back, most of the time when we've played, when us and Met have been in the same league, when we've been in the same league as their first team, traditionally they've beat us.
Yeah, hands down.
Obviously, when we play they have 2 teams. When we play the second team, we usually always win those.
Yeah.
When we're in the same league as them, but we flip-flop leagues, and when we're playing Mets first, they usually beat us all the time. So for Yayan and the guys he got in to beat Met, that was big at the time, to be honest. Yeah. And obviously you had, like, he brought Matt Broderick in.
Yeah.
Brought Jake Kinder in, who Jake is...
Shout out Jake.
Jake is, great player, one of the best guards in Wales, plays for Wales, and plays major minutes, sometimes starts, sometimes doesn't. But Jake's one of the best players in South Wales when he was around. So they also had Giuseppe, who Giuseppe is... so that season, which was
Giuseppe's
nice.
playing semi-pro right now.
Giuseppe was playing, in that season, Giuseppe was playing for me at Cardiff Uni, and then playing for Yayan with City. And Giuseppe's a class player, man.
Yeah,
class. But I haven't seen any of Giuseppe.
Shout out Giuseppe.
Giuseppe's class. I haven't seen any of him since he stopped playing for Yayan that year and went to Filton. I have no idea about anything past that. But
so it was after that year then.
You got to mention how good again. I want to give another shout. Giuseppe is class, especially then in uni and the times he was healthy with City. Yeah, class. Like
he did have. I think he was just having one of those years or two, or an 18-month period where he was just constantly injured.
Yeah, he did. With you, he did. At first year, when I coached him at uni for the first year, he wasn't really injured much. He smashed it.
Yeah,
but he got injured the first year he was doing the City stuff. He did get injured a lot, but it wasn't just him that got injured. Irwin got injured.
Yeah,
Ahmed got injured that year.
Yeah,
and those guys were key.
Yeah.
You had a very good chance of winning that league if you didn't get injuries. Because I came to the second Met game that season. You guys had beat Met at home.
Yeah.
In a big game.
Yeah.
Lots of people were around and talking about it and whatever. I didn't go to that game, but I heard that you guys won. And then you played them at Met. Again, quite a decent amount of people watching.
Yeah.
In a good game. But we were short-handed. Like they won fair and square, but we were very short-handed. There was injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
They were still a better team that game for sure.
Yeah.
And top to bottom the whole season, obviously they were the better team. They won the league. Yeah. But I think if
their only loss that season was to us, they went like, what is it, like something like 13-1,
15-1, 15-1, I think it was.
Something like that. Yeah, crazy. That's an incredible.
Yeah, that's a great record. And we lost. I wasn't involved that season.
I think we lost 2 or 3. We finished second.
We finished second. There was a game the guys shouldn't have lost. They all, Yayan and all the guys told me about that game the following week, and that's probably what cost them more than the Met one, because the points difference on the Met game was pretty tight. Yeah. Because you won by like 11, 12, 13, and they won by like 11, 12, 13.
Something like that.
So it was another game that cost us,
Yeah.
I would, to be honest, shout out to the Met guys, but it's in terms of roster, if everyone was healthy, City had a better roster that season. Like a healthy Giuseppe, healthy Jake Kinder.
But it was our first season together with that roster.
With that group, it was Yayan's second season, but it was the first season with that group.
Yeah.
Having that higher level roster, like where everyone was pretty talented, because Cooper was the backup and not playing sometimes that year.
Yeah.
Like he was getting minutes most games, and by the end of the season, because he's Cooper's class player too, he was getting major minutes. He was also playing for me at uni at that time, and he was playing 40 minutes a game at uni because he's in great shape and he can do that. But so you had a stacked roster that year.
Yeah,
and then I seen you had a great roster. I knew half the guys from coaching them, the rest of the guys from playing them.
So you were like an assistant essentially to.
No, I was gonna come back and coach. I'd come back and play for Yayan. Remember?
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, you were gonna come back.
In my head, I was gonna be like backup guard, assistant, backup Jake and Cooper, maybe play a little bit off the ball.
So that's
be an assistant coach.
24-25 season.
No, 23-24, got to be right.
Yeah, 23-24. Yeah, that's it. 23-24.
So that year, again, we had a stacked roster. We had all the guys that Yayan had recruited. Yeah. Yayan had to leave at the start of the season.
Yeah.
You leave it there? Yeah. So
no, I mean, look, I don't think Yayan's like.
No, it's nothing. I'm not going to. Yeah.
No.
He had to leave.
Yayan had some work-related.
Yeah, he had to deal
situation.
Exactly.
He had quite a lot going on with work, and he just couldn't commit to the time.
Obviously, his work as well as basketball. So he had basketball-related stuff.
It was basketball-related stuff. Obviously, priorities the college, and we just weren't. Even though I think he helped us to professionalize ourselves and put us on that path,
100%,
we weren't in a position to basically, you know what I mean, offset his time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it was difficult. It was difficult.
You couldn't compensate it fully for the time that he was putting in.
Yeah.
So he was going above and beyond as well. To be fair to him, as he does.
Yeah.
So Yayan, I came to play for Yayan that year, to be honest, because I enjoyed playing for Yayan. It was, as you say, it was professional. It was organised. The year I played for Yayan was different to any other year I played for a team around here, really.
Yeah.
Because Yayan's he's just on the ball with, performance level basketball and trying to win games and whatever.
Yeah.
So I came to play for Yayan. He had to leave. And then I think for you originally said it would be me and Ahmed.
Yeah.
But I always knew it was just going to be me.
Yeah.
I'd been coaching for City, for uni prior.
Yeah.
Obviously, I had coached City before, but it wasn't the same. Like I coached uni the year before that, and that's when I really started doing all the prep and things that are required.
Yeah.
Going into the games and stuff. So I knew it would end up being me because, whatever. I mean, Ahmed, it was going to be me if someone's coaching at that point. And I knew he had other commitments, work and whatnot. So I knew it would end up being me as the coach. We still had the stacked roster.
Yeah.
Did we get anyone else? I'm not sure. Sorry. Berwin got injured.
Yeah.
By the start. We had pretty much the same roster, all the same. Berwin and Harry got injured. Because Harry was a big part of that roster the year prior.
Yeah. In that season,
he got injured in one of the first games against Gloucester. Berwin also got injured in one of the first games.
Okay.
And then, fortunately, we got Charlie Ollis.
Yes.
So Charlie, because Berwin was playing like stretch 4. Berwin was starting. We had Jake Kinder, John Fawn, Lewis, Berwin, and Eustace was like a stretch 5.
Yeah.
Now that's a nice team.
Yeah. And then on the bench we had Matt.
Cooper, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm missing guys now, and I feel bad for missing them, but I can't remember everybody we had.
Yeah.
We had Cooper and Matt. Tion. Cannot forget Tion, because Tion was class that year that I started coaching. That same we were talking about. And Mike. Mike was class 2. He came a little bit later.
Yeah, Mike.
So that was the main. Forgive me if
Mike. Having a sabbatical this year.
If I'm forgetting anybody, I apologise. But the main 9 we had to start: Jake, John, Lewis, Berwin, Eustace. That's a tough 5. We had Harry too.
Yeah.
Matt, Cooper, Tion, and then I'm probably forgetting. I'm forgetting a few guys.
Hamid.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Hamid. We had Diadone as well.
Yeah.
Diadone is a great team guy. So we were stacked. And then Harry and Berwin got injured, but Charlie stepped in.
Yeah.
And that made a huge difference because Charlie, he can just shoot the lights out.
Yeah. We had 4 scorers on the floor at any one time.
Yeah. And
4 legit scorers who could create their own shot.
And Jake didn't even have to look at scoring really much that year. He could always score and always shoot, but he was setting guys up because Jake is, to me, he's a very underrated passer. Maybe everyone knows what a good passer he is and it's not underrated, but Jake's an exceptional passer as well as being a great shooter and all that. So Jake could just run the team and Charlie could just make bad shots all the time.
Yeah.
Like he could make shots that, one of those no, yes.
Yeah.
Like we won games.
And he got crazy rebounds.
Yeah, crazy. Amazing rebounder.
Offensive rebounds all the time.
Tough guy.
Super tough.
Like super tough. Like people probably don't even realize how tough he is and was and the way he plays.
Oh, I think a few people over in Loughborough know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of 1 or 2 in particular.
Yeah, so But, he's just tough-minded, tough physical presence. So Charlie came in. There was a lot of games we wouldn't have won that season if Charlie didn't take and make bad shots, honestly.
Yes.
When things were broke down, the first game we had against Plymouth, we only ended up winning by 3 or 4.
2.
We were up by about 20.
Yeah.
And they were making runs, and then Charlie would just take shots that weren't great.
Yeah.
But we needed him to take them and make them.
That Plymouth Patriots team was stacked.
That Plymouth Patriots team was stacked. We'll get to them. I'm talking about the first game we played against Plymouth Raiders that season.
Oh, yeah.
They came down, and we only won by 3 or 4.
No, it was 8.
It finished at 8? Okay, but basically...
I remember that.
It finished 8, a home game, yeah?
Yeah.
It finished at 8, but we were up 1 with 30 seconds left, and Lewis hit a 3 that sealed the game. We were up 20 most of it. They were making a big run. They had like 10 guys there watching, and they were making so much noise. They were sick. Like they were louder than all the people we had there.
Yeah.
Making a big comeback, and nearly got it back, and then Lewis made that big shot. But Charlie made shots that game as well. We wouldn't have won without him. But yeah, Plymouth Patriots as well were class.
Yeah, they had a pro bowler who was in university and also playing on the BBL.
Yeah,
a couple of ex-BBL players.
Sacco's class.
Yeah.
The guard?
Will something.
Will White. He's nice too. He's nice for sure. But not as good as that.
No.
At the time, anyway, I don't know about now, but at the time, Sacco, I might be getting his name slightly wrong. That's his surname.
Yeah.
He was class.
Yeah, he was
class. He was tough as nails, super athletic.
Yeah.
Just sick. So, yeah, we got fortunate to win that game in Plymouth, to be honest. The first one on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they were stacked. We
did a double header in Plymouth.
Yeah, we had a
Patriots on a Saturday and Raiders on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And Patriots had probably the strongest team apart from us
definitely
in the league, but they just weren't consistent in traveling.
Yeah.
And they had one guy on there who was like 7 foot, built like
he was
Arnie.
class. He played pro in Spain.
Is that what it was?
He was a great
player.
He
was class. And I remember it was a call. He basically he went up for a tip in, but it was still in the cylinder or something like that.
Yeah.
And he hit it, and they disallowed it, and we ended up winning by 2 points.
We won by 2. A lot of controversial calls that game. I'll be honest.
But
quite a pretty bit for D3, pretty big crowd as well, and they were pretty.
It's Plymouth. It's a basketball city,
and they were well into it. And yeah, that was a high level game. So many people came up to me after that game talking about what neutral.
Yeah.
Talking about what a high-level game that was.
Yeah.
So obviously, we had that stacked roster. Like you said, we had the Sunday game in Plymouth too. That was a great weekend.
Yeah.
That was my birthday as well that day. That was a great weekend all round.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Yeah. Birthday, but
that was class. So we only lost one time that season. We had the stacked team. We lost to Bath.
Yes.
Because Bath are always tough.
They're always tough.
They're always in shape as well.
Yeah.
And they're always confident.
Yeah.
Like always
very well coached.
Yeah, you got to shout out Antonio. Antonio's class. Yeah,
Antonio.
He was a great player before that for Swindon for years.
Do you remember him at Swindon?
Yeah, of course. From our first season in NBA. Yeah.
I've known him for years.
And he's like super tough-minded. He has all his guys going in thinking they're better than any of these guys. They can win this game, and they press the whole game.
Yeah.
And they trap all the time. So they beat us first game back after Christmas. Classic City loss, that is.
Yeah.
First game back after Christmas. We're not in shape. So
an away game though.
Away game, but they beat us fair and square. They beat us for sure. But then obviously we played them one of our last games of the season.
Yes,
and it was pretty
home
much the same teams.
Yeah,
but our guys had won 11 straight or whatever. We're super confident at this point. We knew we were the best team in the league.
Yeah,
based on the results anyway.
Yeah,
and we beat them by loads. We were up by like 30, 40 points at times. And it didn't finish that much, maybe.
I think we won by 15, 20.
But we were up loads. We were up by like 30 in the first half. Yeah. The guys played amazing that game, and they
were hitting all their shots.
Yeah, they were hitting all that. Jake was smashing it. Like Jake had a broken finger that game as well. You remember he had to the second game in the Plymouth weekend.
Yeah,
Jake broke his finger. Okay. So Cooper finished that game.
Was it broken or dislocated?
Well, I don't know. That's between him and Matt. He'll have to figure it out. But so he had an injury.
Yeah.
That he shouldn't have been playing, like medically, whatever. But and Cooper, shout out to Cooper again, because that Plymouth Raiders game, he played the whole fourth quarter, and you know how confident he is and how good he is. It was like we still had Jake on the floor. We won in that game, and then Jake came back for the Bath game, was amazing.
Yeah, and
then we had one more game away to the bottom of the league team that we ended up winning by 40 points. But obviously, you always got to go and play the game, but no one ever thought we were going to lose that game.
Yeah.
But the league was probably already wrapped up at that point, but the promotion wasn't. That was the big thing.
No,
because if you remember, you and I were emailing NBL all the time. Like, we've seen a report online that Crawley have lost the game. It's not on their record. Now, if this game comes up on their record, we're getting promoted.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, we're not.
Yeah.
So I was stressing for like 2 months.
Yeah, me too, man.
So we
my hairline finished that season.
Yeah, and we made the playoffs. Playoffs were fun.
Yeah, we got to the final 8.
Yeah, we only got to the second round final 8. I can't remember who we played the first game. They were tough though, but we were missing a lot of guys.
God, I want to.
We played at Taliban.
Yeah, and then the game that we lost.
We had pretty much everyone back then, but Eustace missed like the major part of the last part of the season.
Yeah,
where we had the game against Loughborough, which was a great game, man.
Yeah,
it was obviously
controversial.
Yeah,
controversial loss.
It ended. Oh yes, yeah. We should have. Yeah, the refs blew it at the end. Yeah, so yeah, we've got to say that actually. But that was a great game.
Yeah.
The unfortunate feelings I have about that game is more to do with the physical incidents that happened at the end.
Yeah,
but again, if the ref had made the call he should have made, or either of those two refs. So shout out Dave Thomas, my guy.
Yeah,
Dave is a legend. He's straight.
Yeah, I got a lot of love for Dave. He knows that.
But they should have made the call at the end of the game. It would have been a different game. Might still have lost, whatever. But obviously, it was controversial ending because of the fight or whatever you want to call it, the melee.
And then D2 happened.
We got promotion, yeah.
And then, so why did you back out from D2?
Well, back out infers that I agreed to do it in the first place.
That was that. Like, this is a conversation we're having. Like
you might have assumed, but
yeah, I mean,
and I think Sufyan and Ahmed and John and all those guys, they assumed,
everybody assumed you're coming
because the last playoff game, they're all saying, "Oh, you're coming back next year for D2." But I know, only I know, and I don't mean that like that's going to sound so egotistical, but only I know exactly how much time I spent on the coaching that season. Yeah. And all head coaches will know the same thing. It's not like I'm the only head coach.
Yeah,
they'll all know what I'm saying. You just go, if you care about the game, you put so much into it that it had to be compensated at a certain level because I knew how much time I was going to spend if we were in D2.
Yeah.
I just knew that.
Well, it was double amount of games. It was literally
more
double,
travel, higher level.
Way more travel.
We'd have to be more prepared.
Yeah.
You know, it was hit or miss whether we'd have the exact same roster.
You needed a year out, man, because had a lot going on.
I was coaching Cardiff Uni and Cardiff City the year prior.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really planning on coaching both teams before the season started. So it felt like a lot at the time, obviously with work as well.
It was a difficult thing, but like I think I always say this: like players, coaches, everybody needs to have a season where they take a season out to appreciate. Because if you're in the game, week in, week out for years, nobody's as stupid as I am to do it for 25 years straight without a break.
It was worse being on the outside looking in, though, for the
it wasn't. I can tell you, it wasn't.
Nah, for me,
because I was going to games and I was like, "What the?" We'd be up by 10 points against top of the league or whatever it was in D2, and then we just blow the lead.
But first half of the season, I was trying to keep guys like Jake and Charlie and all that involved.
Yeah.
And trying to be in, and I coached a couple of games, when stuff wasn't there, or with me and Sid coached a couple.
Yeah,
and we had some okay games. Yeah, I helped stuff with the Liverpool game, which we won, and we nearly beat Manchester. That was a very close game at home. So, but like it's difficult to be halfway in, especially when I was seeing that, like
I think it was
seeing that things ain't being run out they're supposed to.
Yeah, like soon as we went up to that level, because the way the league was, D1 and D2 was all anybody cared about in British basketball outside of BBL, right? It was D1, D2. That was it, right? And we were D2. We were playing D2 North, even though we're a southern team. Don't know how that works.
Not the only team from the south playing D2
Bristol,
North, though.
all the Bristol teams.
Met were in
Met were in there. All the Bristol teams. Yeah, I get it. It doesn't make sense still, though, right? Anyway. So, we did that, and it was a bad season. The guys who finished the season, shout out to everybody who finished the season for us last year. Our resolve was there. Guys were going to away games, traveling 4 hours, 5 hours up to Myerscough, what I mean? Whatever the situation was.
You have to acknowledge as well that Sufyan probably wasn't, before the season started, wasn't aware that he was going to be doing it.
No.
And his commitment was great. Obviously, he's already got holidays and stuff booked, and he's got work. You're not going to take that off when you didn't even know you were going to be the coach at the start of the season.
Exactly. Suf was like...
And he stayed the whole year.
Yeah, so Sufyan Iqbal, you all know him as Suf and stuff. Or you may not know him.
It's not an easy scenario to be in, what he was doing.
He's always been helping in the background.
100%.
And
100%.
he said, "Look, I'm happy to step up." Because he was assistant with you when we won promotion.
And he was awesome, though. I loved having him as an assistant.
It was just going to D2 was literally every game was played at the highest level, and we had only just unlocked it with a particular squad. The direction that Suf wanted to take us in terms of his coaching style, what he wanted to do, it didn't fit with everyone. His personality clashes, whatever.
If Suf had the time, though, if he actually had the time to dedicate himself to coaching, I still think he has the ability to be a good coach at decent level. But it's the time you need so much time.
Yeah,
he's flat out with work and travel.
We had this conversation. I think we had this conversation yesterday when we were down.
Suf knows the game.
Yeah,
some people out there feel like Suf, not that no one has spoken to me directly, but I know some people think it's because Suf didn't really play that he doesn't know the game. But you speak to Suf knows basketball. I know you know this, but everyone else should know that too.
So that happened. And I think near the end of last season, our junior program was growing.
Yeah.
Jeff came in and was like, I want to help out more. So we were talking probably from February, March of our D2 season. So 2025, just February and March of this year. And then I was just I was talking to you throughout the year anyway.
Yeah, you were.
And because we were able to get people to take some of the workload off of me, we got 5 people doing what I was doing by myself. We were in the position, or we are in a position now where we're basically able to go, okay, we can compensate you, for X, Y, and Z. We can do this, we can do that, whatever the situation is, and we've managed to get you back.
Obviously, like you said, the junior program being growing is big, massive for the club too.
Massive. Yeah, we've got 2 under-18s national.
Yeah, exactly, and you've got good kids are committed. Good, earnest, talented kids.
No, they're fantastic. They're super, super professional. So and now you're back, and So how's the season been going so far?
I think it's been really good.
Okay,
but everyone's going to have a different perspective.
Obviously, my intention, I'm greedy, right? I won a championship. We've won a championship. So I'm like, we need to win it again. Because I see these teams and I'm like, because once you win a championship, you know how to win it. If you haven't won one, you don't know how to win one. Like a National League championship, not every team gets to do that, right? It's the truth. The amount of teams that come and go over the last, 15, 20 years and have not won a championship.
Yeah, well, we've had lots of teams with City that I felt at the start of the season. Obviously, as a player, you're always going to feel that, but I feel like we could win this league. And we usually, we're top 2, 3, but we didn't win and get promoted and all that like we did that year. But this year, I think it's been good because we started with a whole new team this year. And
Let's talk about the team then.
If you look at, we've got 2, 3. This last night's game, 3 guys starting that had never played NBL before this season. Seniors,
yeah. That's a big one.
So Nefe, who is going to be a great player, everyone's going to know Nefe at a certain point.
Nefe's going to the States next year.
Yeah, Nefe's been great this season. Nefe's got so much talent, and he's a great kid though as well. A real good, great kid.
Yeah,
but he's never played NBL before. Boyle, the same. Boyle's a great kid.
Yeah,
going to be a really good player. He's a good player right now.
Young man, stop calling them kids, man. They're young men. If you get them married tomorrow, they're going to have a kid.
Boyle's still under 18. No, he's 18 years old, but he's classified as under 18.
He could play under 18 if he wanted.
They're all still in college, the kids. But we got those 2 that haven't played NBL seniors before, and Tom Caulfield, who played with me at uni, he hasn't played NBL seniors before, just got on last night's squad. So 3 stars that have not played this level.
Yeah.
And we're 5-4.
Yeah.
And we've been, besides the Gloucester game, we've been competitive in every single game.
Yeah.
Some close losses. Hurricanes and Raiders were close losses.
Yeah.
And we haven't had
a full squad.
Maybe we won't. Maybe this season we won't have the full, my ideal full roster. I think in my head. Maybe we won't have all those guys this year.
Yeah.
But we're doing well. Guys are really developing.
Yeah.
We got a young team. Yeah. 3 of the 5 stars haven't played NBL, but we've got more guys on the roster that haven't played NBL than have, to be honest.
The average age of the club now has gone down to about 22, the average age, because we got so many guys who are 18.
Yeah, we got we got 3 18-year-olds starting usually, or 18, 19.
Yeah.
Boyle, Austin, Nefe.
Tom.
Yeah, Tom's, early 20s or so. But he's still young.
Yeah.
But,
Will.
Hamid, Alekos, Will's his last year of uni. So we got a very young team,
Yeah.
I enjoy this with the roster we got a lot, Like we got good guys, like the real good guys. Alekos is young too,
What happened in Gloucester? How come we took such a massive loss at home? 34 points.
Yeah, it's funny that game because
it was close until the third.
We're only down
going into the fourth.
We were down 8 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I don't know. That run was coming the whole game though.
Yeah.
Because guys were not doing what they need to be doing to compete with that high level. I
see in Gloucester that energy that we had when we were on that run, where we finished first, second.
Maybe they got a talented team. The big guy who plays for UWE.
Yeah,
he's a real nice player.
Yeah,
and Reese is a really nice player.
Yeah, and we played against Gloucester. Gloucester have never been a good team, right? Like I'm not being horrible. No, come on, let's be honest, right? Look, with all due respect to Gloucester, and they're doing amazing this year. I hope you guys.
Last year they must have been a good team too because they won the league, right?
Yeah, but that was D4. D4 is trash.
The guard they had the second time round that played against us that didn't play in the first game is also nice.
Okay.
And they got the guy, the shooter, that he didn't really make that many shots against us, but he's been lighting up some other teams.
Okay.
Like Raiders and Bath. So yeah, they got a nice team. On paper though, nowhere near like the roster we had.
Yeah, traditionally when we played against Gloucester, let's take out the last 2 years, right? Okay. But they've always been a subpar team, right? Unfortunately,
for Division 3 or Division 2, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, they've always been a subpar team.
But this year, they probably got the most talented team.
Yeah, definitely, by far, because they've got Reese back in there. They've got some Americans. They're getting coached really well. They put some money in
Jay
there.
Can play he can still play as well. He's played pro and stuff. Jay Marriott, he can still play.
So there we go. So they've got the guys. Jay used to be over at Plymouth, right?
And I think he played in Spain and through. He's very experienced.
So he's brought that in. He's brought in what they've needed for a long time, and they're trying to pull in a whole bunch of Southwest players in there, and they're doing fantastic.
Yeah, they're doing.
But it's not like they're just putting together a bunch of good players. They've got a really good energy about them.
Yeah, they seem tight, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like they're playing, they're having fun.
But I feel like...
Because we've seen a couple of their games, right? We've gone to like, when they played against a couple of people, obviously, when we played them as well.
We played them twice.
Yeah.
Already, we played them in the Cup as well. Slightly different team. They were missing some of their main guys.
Yeah. Reese hadn't signed.
Reese hadn't signed yet, but also the guard that played, the two guards that played in the second game, they weren't there either.
Yeah.
But they got a talented team. I don't know why the game went that far away from us. At a certain point, I did just play guys who maybe wouldn't normally finish the game for us.
Yeah.
But the game was already out of hand. And I know you're going to say what you often do say to me, that the points difference is important.
Points difference matters.
Points difference does matter. It does, but...
Not so much this year. When we went up...
it does matter.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't just win-loss percentage. No. You remember, there was, I think, 7 or 8 teams in D3 that could potentially go up. And only the top 4 teams in the UK at that time would go up from D3 to D2.
No, it's always
so important. You had to have the best record, but also not just the best win-loss, but the best percentage of points differential.
For sure.
And we were way higher than like by 100
Yeah, we had a great points difference that season. And points difference is, of course, it's important in this league structure.
Not now, because it's 4 divisions in D3.
If you win it,
if you win your provisional or you win your sectional division, then you're going up.
But if you want to finish second rather than third, for example, or if you're in between 4th and 5th and you want to make the playoffs, points difference still matters.
Yeah, of course.
But there's also that constant balance when you're coaching between the optimum effectiveness for this game versus long term for the whole season. How is it going to go for the whole squad if you rule certain guys out of this game?
Yeah.
Because you need to keep guys engaged. So there's always that balance. You could in any game, you could play 7-8 guys, 7-8 man rotation, and maybe you just have a better chance.
I don't believe you can win. I don't think you can win a league with just 7 or 8 guys. Don't get me wrong, you can have a 7-8 man rotation, but you need a deeper bench.
Yeah, we never have a 7 or 8 man rotation. I make sure to play everyone that comes the best I can, every single player.
Yeah,
but but like at the highest levels of basketball, it is just 7 or 8 for the last 7 games.
Yeah,
like maybe it's changed a little bit now. Like the Pacers last year, totally different, really. But they played loads of guys.
Yeah.
But traditionally, at the highest levels, it's always been come the playoffs. You're playing 7, 8 guys at most.
Yeah.
For most teams.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe you're playing 10 guys, but 2 to 3 of those guys are playing 10 minutes. They just spell in the starter for 5 minutes each half or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you've got to balance the tight rotation with, because I honestly believe that having good energy on the bench and having that camaraderie, I think that makes a difference on the court.
Massive difference.
Like, I know you can't
see
prove
that's what I'm saying. Like, I see that.
It does.
With
it makes a difference.
Gloucester. I see that a little bit with Bath. I think Bath are a great team. I'm not going to go too much into them because we're playing them on a first game back, so I'm not going to talk too much about them.
Yeah, they're playing most of the guys around. They got a pretty deep team. They got a bunch of guys. Like we saw them play against Met, and they had
Cooper's their leading guy, obviously.
Yeah, definitely well won as well. Like obviously with Antonio.
He scored 30 on the yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it ain't just Cooper though. They got the left-handed guys. I think he might be number 38, quite tall, shoots the free. Remember the game against Met, shooting the lights out?
Yeah.
And they got the other left-handed guy. I believe he's Eastern European, but I'm not certain.
The one with the shaved head, yeah.
Yeah, he's not the tallest guy.
Yeah,
but he plays like the stretch 5.
Yeah.
And he's nice, and he's
real nice.
He was going 1-on-1 against Nefe and making shots over him, and obviously sometimes Nefe was blocking him because that's what Nefe does. But most people don't really get a good look against Nefe 1-on-1 if they're inside the key. But he's nice, you know. They got a good team.
They got a very good team, a very good coach.
They're second in the league right now.
Yeah, deservedly so.
Yeah, and they might finish. Well, you never know. Gloucester could drop games, and they might finish higher than Gloucester. You never know what'll happen.
Yeah, potentially.
But they've lost to Gloucester twice, I believe.
Twice.
In terms of them winning the league, that's tough.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's your career. That's a little bit of NBL. Let's talk about South Wales basketball. Let's talk about Welsh basketball, and in general, let's kind of go into that. This is going to I can see this kind of going off in different directions. But for me, the best team. Okay, so just for you, what's the best team in Wales right now?
Right now,
yeah.
Well, that's difficult. I know. I think I know what you were going to say, but I feel like you'd have to say Cardiff Met's first team.
Yeah,
is the standard bearer.
Yeah,
because they're in the highest league.
Yeah,
in the UK.
Yeah,
and they're in Wales. You know, so I feel like you'd have to say them. Now, if RCT were to play against Cardiff Met,
you couldn't call it.
Maybe you couldn't call it. It might be a tight game, but like RCT are the toughest team to play against.
Yeah, RCT playing against what Cardiff Met have, because they've lost Dan, right? Their import. I think if RCT and Cardiff Met, because they may go head to head in BWNL, right?
Yeah, but that's not the same because Met. I don't think Met play all their National League guys, so it's not Met's full team. You know,
I think. Oh, I don't.
It's like I think you can only have like 5 NBL guys or 6 playing BWNL.
Ah, okay.
So that's not really.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that has been the final the last few years, and they've like alternated wins, even with Met not being able to play all their NBL guys. Met have still beat them at times, you know.
Yeah.
And Met still got. We were talking about them last night. They still got a lot of talented guys.
They have.
You know, we were talking about Lucas Scotland. Like he's going to be real. He's still young.
I remember Lucas when he was like
Roth Park.
God,
Roth Park,
like tiny.
Yeah, I remember refereeing him when he was like a
little kid.
He still had the same game though. He just didn't have the body. No. He's always had the game. But you know they've got Pete as well. Shout out to Pete Walker's.
Pete is so much.
He's a good guy, man. I like Pete a lot. He's a good player.
He stepped down from Met. He's not playing no more. Apparently, I could be wrong.
That's a loss. Any club losing a player and a guy that's as committed as Pete would be a loss. But
he's a lovely guy. He's you know he can ball out at a high level. Fair play to him.
But I would say based on the
injury, I don't know.
Based on the rosters I've seen, and I had the game I've seen Mets first. They didn't have the American playing, so different. But
he played for them last year, but like he played like for their seconds and stuff. I think we played against them, and he wasn't. He was very athletic, but I don't think he was.
Yeah,
he wasn't Dan.
Yeah, Dan was great.
Dan was incredible.
And he was just a great team guy, good character.
He was like Charlie. When we had Charlie, he was like Charlie for them. But they had him for a long time.
They had him for longer, and he probably fit in even more. Like Charlie was I love Charlie. Me and Charlie get on very well. He was a big part of our team. Yeah, but Dan just fit in seamlessly with those guys. You know, it wasn't like it was just like Dan was just part of the team.
And he's a huge Boston Celtics fan, which I am as well.
Didn't know that.
I never had a chance to talk to him. He's from Boston. Charlie used to tell me about it.
Yeah, I know those guys talk.
Yeah.
But going back to the question though,
best team in Wales right now.
I would say RCT are the toughest team. personally.
Not toughest, the best team. It's got to be Met.
You think?
Because they're D1.
Yeah, like it is Met. It is by technicality and officially, it is Met because they got the highest level team.
I would like to see. I can't call it with what Met have right now with their National League squad. Could they beat RCT? I would say yes because I've refereed some of our RCT's games.
They could, and maybe they will when they play at the end of the season. But RCT could also beat Met.
I don't think they can now. Right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
and I tell you why. Because Tony's their only big, right?
He might still be. They got Nathan. He's older now again. Dark hair, tall boy. He started when he was really young and he's really developed. I hope I'm not getting the name wrong because I know his mum and dad too. They're good people and he's a good guy.
Okay.
Tall, dark haired guy.
5?
4, maybe 5. Yeah.
I don't know. But like for me, Phil Warren steps in there. For me, though.
The brothers, though, Owen, Lloyd, and Reese.
We'll get onto that in a second. For me, I would choose Met just because they got Gareth or Gaz.
Yeah, Gav Williams, great player.
Yohan,
real success. No, I didn't see Yohan last time we went there to play. I don't think Yohan's playing for them. I might be wrong.
Okay,
Eli's back though.
Eli's back.
You've got to give a shout out to Gaz though as well because he wasn't. I think he probably admit this when I was first playing for Met.
Yeah,
I think he just started the uni. He wasn't great with basketball.
No.
But he just stuck with it, and he is great now. He's a really good player and has been for a long time.
High IQ guy.
Yeah, high IQ guy. But he didn't start there, so you've got to give him props for how much he's developed. He's a real nice guy.
I think they've got. God, yeah, you got me thinking now. Yeah, I can't call.
I don't think Yohan's there. That was my thing when I was thinking about it because Yohan's a great player.
Yeah,
great team guy as well.
Yeah, if Yohan's not there, I don't know. It's a bit of a toss up, like between RCT and Thingy. Like I would love to say. Us with a full healthy squad, we're up there as well. But I think we're just below. I think we're above RCT.
I don't know. Obviously, officially, like we said, Met are the best team. They're playing at the highest level.
Yeah,
they got the highest level team.
Yeah.
I don't know. If we had Lewis every game and Austin.
Yeah.
With the 11, 12 guys we've got, we would have a much different team. You have Lewis and Austin on the 2 and 3. That's a high level team. But we haven't got that. So right now. So we can't say that, and RCT is always tough to beat, regardless.
Yeah, RCT. Okay, so for me, just changing the topic or moving the topic slightly towards, for me, the best team over the last 2 decades overall has been RCT.
100% to me.
100%.
Again, people from Met maybe might disagree because they've probably a lot of the time been playing at a high level. But RCT did go up to D2 Welsh League.
Yeah, way before Met.
D2 NBL, yeah.
Yeah, was like...
And they went up, they started D4, D3, D2.
They were battling with Celts.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they played D1.
No, they never went up to D1. I think they pulled out.
But RCT, they're
dominant.
Yeah, they've been, when I started playing basketball, Steve Williams was the under-18 coach.
Okay, for Wales?
For Wales under-18, Steve was the coach. And Owen... I think I was under 16, playing under 18. So Owen was the starting point guard because he's a year or 2 older than me, I'm not sure.
Okay.
And they were like ever since then. And Reese was obviously a little bit older.
Yeah.
Lloyd and Thomas weren't really playing at that level yet because they were so much younger and smaller.
Yeah.
But even since then, Steve's been probably the premier coach. Obviously, even before those 20 years, they had the women.
Yeah.
And obviously, they had that class documentary on BBC with the women's team.
Check it out, guys. RCT Gladiators.
I don't know the title of the documentary, but it was class.
I don't know.
You should watch it.
Type in RCT Basketball, BBC.
Yeah, worth watching for anybody.
Really good. I really get along with Ange and I think the first year or 2 that we played, there was like a lot of tension because I think we were the only team that were able to keep up with them. When we played with them.
Whether you're keeping up with them or not, though, there's tension when you play them.
Yeah.
That's how they are. They're tough.
Oh yeah, of course. But I think even off the court, do you know what I mean?
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but like. Now, like there's like a level of respect there. Do you know what I mean? Because I think they would win one, we would win one. You know what I mean? They'd win a cup, we'd win the playoffs. They win the playoffs, we win the cup. And it was back and forth for a number of years.
Not quite back and forth, I would say. Okay. We beat them maybe 3 times. I can remember every single one.
Yeah,
they've probably beat us 8, 9 times in that spell, if we're being honest.
When they got rid of Final Fours. Didn't give a valid reason, didn't communicate it well enough. Maybe they did, in their long-ass emails, they said absolutely no idea how to communicate.
Well, if nobody really knew why, they didn't communicate well enough, did they?
But then I'm talking from my perspective. I don't really read long ass emails.
But nobody does. That's not good enough communication nowadays, to be honest.
Maybe
social media thing would be better.
Yeah, maybe it would. Maybe they should put that out there. But they got rid of Final Fours. Final Fours is a great competition. I remember in 2016, getting back to the point, and one particular player, shout out Ebos, he sent a message because he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to play. Whatever. Ain't no way we're going to beat RCT." And we're in the group chat, and we're all going, no, we're gonna, we're gonna give them a good game. It's gonna be because, obviously at that point, because we were still very young. This is almost 10 years ago. Still very young. The players, they were like, oh, when we lost to RCT, we didn't just lose. We lose by 40 points. Most teams.
I've lost to RCT by 40 points for sure.
Easily, right? So we're like, we'd lost to them in the cup that year as well, and they were like, no, we can do it. And he's like, oh, how are we going to win? Black magic. I remember that with some juju and black magic.
You won that game, though, didn't it?
And then we won the fight, and we beat him. We beat him. We won by 10 and stuff.
So you won that one, yeah, which was great. But then we didn't win then for a good number of years.
We won in 2017.
No, didn't beat RCT, though. We might have won the cup. But sometimes RCT might not make it to the final for certain reasons.
I think we won the cup in 2017. No, I don't think it was either 2017 or 2018 where we didn't win anything. But I think RCT did.
I did. Yeah,
We
often win the cups and that, but I didn't play in that game, the EBOS game you're talking about. But we have beat them 3 times since that game. But that's a long time ago, 2016-17. We beat them 3 times. And I can remember every one, and I've lost to them more than that.
Yeah, I think the last time we played them,
the first year Ian coached, we beat them in the league home and away, which we'd never done before.
Yeah.
And the year or two prior to that, we beat them.
We beat them or something. I can't remember.
We beat them one time, and then we lost again. We beat them once, and then we lost in the Terry Price Cup. So obviously we got cut off. We were talking about Owen being probably the best guard the whole time I was playing. Owen's probably the best point guard for the last 20 years, because we're talking about the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But I do want to mention Jordan as well, because Jordan.
He didn't play in Wales though. Really,
that's the thing. He didn't play in Wales, but he was definitely up there. He was a great player. Played in the States. Played high level. Played pro.
Yeah.
And then came back and played for Met for a little bit, but he's not really at the same level then. But obviously he's doing a lot locally with Crickhowell and stuff. Cam's kept that club running the whole time.
Yeah.
So I just want to mention Jordan too, because he's like
he
knows the game different to anyone. He just knows the game.
Different. He's somebody that should be heavily involved in basketball.
I'm surprised he isn't.
Yeah, I tried a few years ago, tried to get him to come play, try and get involved in coaching and stuff.
Yeah, his knowledge of the game is just a different level.
He was like a big push in the professionalization and getting the right people over into BW.
Yeah. Everyone respects Jordan as well, I feel like.
Yeah, I think they do. I think it's hard not to. I think it's hard not to, right? Because he's obviously he's an educated guy, he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
He's business savvy, so he's commercially aware.
Yeah,
all things that
really.
Yeah, that help massively, but also that anybody from who works or who does anything right can respect that.
Yeah,
you want to come back.
He was like starting point guard for England in the 16s and stuff as well.
Oh, he played England. He didn't play Wales.
He played for England. Maybe he wasn't the starting point guard. I might have that wrong, but he was playing for England under 16s, maybe under 18s too. He's extremely high level player. He was similar to Asa. He was a bit of a legend, for the fellow junior guys.
Why didn't he play for Celts? Oh, because he was over in Cam's academy over in Taunton, right?
Oh yeah, he never would have played for an academy around here because Cam had the good stuff going on in Taunton, and then he was probably playing. By the time Celts started the senior stuff up, he was probably playing in Malta or Gibraltar, wherever he played. I don't know. And he obviously went to the States for a year as well, and he played against high level guys. He played against, Byron Mullins is? He used to play for the Clippers, and he played for London, I think, as well. Okay. But he's like a legitimate NBA player at one point. He played against him in high school. Yeah, Jordan was up there.
So what do you think of what about the Celts? That's one to throw in the mix. What are your thoughts on them?
I'm so glad you mentioned
that. Because they went from D4, D3, D2, D1, and I think they got promotion every year.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The Celts at their peak obviously played at a higher level than RCT. And if you look at all the guys they had, I'm going to forget them all again now, but they had Asa, Mike Gregory, Matt Dorr was unbelievable back in the day.
He played point as well. He was such a big lad.
He wasn't always that big.
No.
But I will get back to Matt because he's a class player. But they had those three: Asa, Matt, Mike Gregory. Because Mike Gregory obviously well as well. He was he was tall as well. He was class.
Yeah.
Bordy, I believe, played. But they had Chris and Nick. I should have mentioned that Chris first really. And Chris player coach. Chris class player.
No BS with that.
No BS. They had G. They had Tony Berry. They had so many guys.
Tony Berry again. Still.
Yeah, so many guys. And they had good players that weren't even playing for them. Like maybe younger guys, but they definitely obviously had played at a higher level than RCT, and maybe their top team when they had everyone probably pipped RCTs a little bit, but maybe that depends on which American RCT had at the time. Because when RCT were going up, because they went D4, D3, D2, maybe not one after the other, but they did that in pretty quick succession.
Of course they did, yeah.
So depending on who the American was, they could probably compete with the Celts team, probably. But RCT have got it on longevity, right? Obviously, over the last 20 years, they've been going the whole time.
They've pushed
Celts were short-lived
forward more than any other organization or team or anything consistently than anybody else.
Yeah, they understand,
right? Because they've been continually playing local league and national league and local league and national league and winning all these titles. Like you look at the cup, it's like goes back like 20 odd years, and they've consistently done it. And for better or worse, teams were losing by 60, 70 points. Nobody wanted to play them, right? They've brought it's taken years for everybody to get up. It took us like a year or two to get up to the standard where we would compete with RCT.
And like you said, I'm not sure if I've already said this, but the way they're playing is like way ahead. It's the way that like Ryan Chambers wants the guys to play with Wales now. It's
Ryan, you need to get those videos and all that coaching stuff. Get those RCT boys
because they're pressing full court the whole game. Relentless pressing full court.
Not anymore. But
no, back in the day though, they were just relentless.
Yeah, not from the games I've seen. Maybe they still do. I don't know, but yeah, you're 100% right. But they raised the level of basketball just by playing and like not taking a foot off the gas.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point in taking a foot off the gas? It's like I remember when I first came into South Wales basketball, like if a team was winning by 10, like last 30 seconds, they just throw the ball away.
The thing with RCT is they don't play down to the competition.
No,
like because they're all. I've had conversations with Steve and with Owen and that about that, and you can tell they're really earnest about it. That the game's not won until you start the game. You know what I mean? Like everyone might think RCT are this much better than everyone, but they never play down to it. They always play hard. I guess they're different to it. But obviously, as well, the other team over the last 20 years is Met, obviously.
Okay.
Obviously, Met, though, as well. Met, they can be a little bit more picky, so to speak, about
who they let into the
And even guys from Met, maybe they wouldn't all say it, but some of them have said that to me, that they are a little bit more choosy, about the type of people or whatever.
They're trying to ensure that the culture that they have is the culture that they have. Whereas we're like, if you can hoop, you can join. And our only rule is don't be a douchebag.
Yeah. I don't think douchebag is the word you use, though, is it?
Douchebag's not the word. Is don't be a dick, right? So that is that is part of the proviso. Like you can be however you want. We've got so many different players. Like we attract so many international players. Like I said, we're two very different cultures, and like merging that organization together is just going to be detrimental for both. Right now, BW have been on my case, Gav, and I'm sure others have as well. I remember Jordan mentioned it to me as well. Like just put in a joint bid. Go together. But it's like if we try to merge it all in together, you know what I mean? Yeah, and you're trying to get the best players together. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But really, it's more than that. Like you're trying to develop talent. Like there's some guys who won't get a look in at Met and vice versa. There's guys who play for Met that wouldn't get a look in with us, right? Just because of their positioning. Because of that person's going to lose out on valuable National League minutes, right?
Who would, if it was to merge as well, it'd be so difficult. There'd be huge growing pains for one. But like, whether it's ego or not, like, who does what and who decides what.
Yeah.
would be difficult because
the roadblock in that thing, right? It's a conversation we have within our own organization.
So in this hypothetical, you'd be happy to let Sarah or Lucy run things.
I'd love it if Lucy ran it. It'd be class.
Like, you know, but like just looking at who's the coaches now for them and for us. Stefan is my guy. We go on super well, and I'm the coach here.
I like him. I think he's.
I'm really sure we would both want to be the head coach of the top level team in that merger, because there'd be multiple teams, of course.
Yeah,
but it's difficult to just delineate who does what role, you know, and also what happens to the 6 or 7 guys Met have got or that we've got that maybe wouldn't make it. Let's say we were doing it 6 from each, just hypothetically. You know, those other guys are not going to want to play down in the. So it's just, you know, it's a lot. It'd be very difficult. A lot of growing pains.
Yeah, what do they do with their uni students who play in whatever the D3 that they're playing in now?
It'd be tough.
You know, but it's like it's servicing our city first, right? We're about Cardiff before Wales, and I know that's going to be controversial for some people. We're about our city. We've got a lot of problems in Cardiff, and the people that we work with and the projects that we work on are in response to that. And I don't think people outside, hopefully today, they'll get a better understanding. Like, we're not looking for prestige, right?
No.
Like we're going to enter BCB, the trophy competition, in about 8-9 months or whatever it is, September 26 or whatever. You know, to test the water, and you know, we've got things running in place already for that. But we're not doing that for prestige.
Yeah.
It's because, okay, we know how to win a championship. We know we can go up a level. We can hang with the guys in D1, right? Because we had a skeleton crew last year, and there was at least 50% of the games where we lost 10 points or under, right? And that was just to fatigue or whatever it was, right?
I think what you were obviously, like you said already, it can't really be a rivalry when we don't beat their top team.
Yeah.
But like in terms of the guys that are running the program over there and stuff, there's no ill will whatsoever. Like, you know, they're very respectful. It's all yes, coach. No, you know, they're real.
They call me good. Coach, and I'm like, I don't even coach you. What are you talking about?
No, the ones I haven't interacted with all of them, but like 10 plus of them I have, and they're all good kids, man.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying is like juniors 2 plus with the expansion plans with the other teams that we're looking at.
So we're not them, but we see that we all love the same thing.
We all love the same thing.
We can relate on too.
How could you dislike anybody who's a hooper, who loves basketball?
Give up their time as well.
Give up their time, their weekends.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
You only do it at this level if you love it.
Yeah. Of course it is. And I think as well, it's kind of coming back to like merger, Basketball Wales again, and this is not criticism, and I'm very quick to criticize, right? But this is not criticism, but like they're looking at it from a national perspective and like, if we could just get Cardiff glued together, but it wouldn't work because they're not from Cardiff. The guys in the BW are not from Cardiff, right? Like Isan sits on there now, so maybe he's schooling them a little bit, I hope. But it's like we're 2 different cultures, and that's not like, oh, okay, we're mostly black or brown or non-white. That's definitely not the case. And you know, they're just uni students or whatever the case is, because that's, again, it's not the case. We're 2 very different cultures, 2 different visions in terms of what we want to do. Like I'm turning to Amin 9 times out of 10, or Jeff, and I'm like, how do I log into this? What's the password for this? Do you know what I mean? Because they already are on it. Oh, when's this? What's this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How do I, the finances, the spreadsheet, is it up to date? Whatever.
There'd be some major growing pains though, bro.
Oh, it would.
If you stepped away, like, you know. For a lot of people, they wouldn't know where the first port of call is either.
Yeah, I think we're there, or we're several months away from the point where Casey could just step away and we'll be in a position where we're going to be fine. Okay, so that's good. We discussed Met. We discussed that.
Guys, we would truly appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts.
iTunes.
Hopefully we'll get some really interesting people in here to talk with. And anyone that has listened, thank you, earnestly, thank you very, very much.